Good day, viewers. Welcome once again to another episode of News Echoes. And as usual, I'm not alone. First of all, I'm Dr. Gordon Ibe, chairman of NIDO Russia. I'll be your host today. And of course, I'm not alone at the studio today. Joining me today, all the way from Toronto, is Sir George Chuku. Hello,
Good
Sir
morning.
George. How are you today?
Good morning, Dr. Ibe, and good morning, viewers from around the world. Welcome to our Friday show where we talk about the international news. It's good to
Yes,
be here.
yes. Today we're focusing on international news. And joining me is all the way from the heart of Nigeria is BD. How are you today? We can't get your video. Okay, we'll return back to BD in a while she sorts out technical issues. And joining us later, obviously, will be Massive Mark from Milan. In a while, he'll be joining us. So there's a lot to talk about, Sir George, today. Where do we start from? Do we start from the Russia Africa Summit to the ministerialist or the of sports? So there's just a lot to talk about. Well, what
Much
do you think we
much to
should
talk
start with?
about. I think we should talk about the coup in Niger Republic because
Yes, the
that's
coup in
something
Niger
else.
Republic.
Yes, I think that's
Okay. Yeah, why not? I'll consider that. Okay. Joining us now is all the way from the heart of London, UK, Ambassador Nat Iyako. Welcome, Ambassador Nat.
yay.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ibe,
Thank
our
you.
Canadian envoy,
Yes, sir.
Sir Obi. Where is BD?
It is
BD will be
coming.
joining
Okay,
us soon. Just some technical issues need to be sorted out. She'll be joining us.
okay.
Well, yeah, we hope we didn't have to.
Italiano,
Okay, let
legendary.
me let me properly
I, I,
introduce Massive Mark all the way from Milan. Welcome, Massive Mark.
thank you very much. I greet you all. It's good to see you, Ambassador Nat. Thank you so much, Dr. Godwin. It's good to see you, and Sir George. So let's do it as we've always been doing. Great uh, engagement here now. Thank you.
Okay, unfortunately, I hope Billy will eventually join us later. Yes, but let's talk about the coup. Well, I think nowadays you can say coup in the world is becoming more and more popular, especially in Africa. I don't know if I'll be wrong to draw that conclusion, but the coup which we can see, do you think it was because the message that was given by the military was to save democracy, to fulfill the will of the people, and to prevent the downfall of the economy and the social conditions in the country, and so they had to step in and save the day by overthrowing democratic elected president. And we have also seen that democracy hasn't always been the best solution for all types of countries. We've seen it in Afghanistan, how it didn't work. We've seen it in maybe with Iraq, where it's working on what do you call it, an intensive care unit, let me put it that way, or with the British. In Nigeria as well, we've seen a lot of complaints both by the EU observer team that came for the election and who said the elections were conducted properly. So we cannot also argue that democracy is a one shoe that fits all kind of system of government. But yeah, here we have it, a coup, military coup d'etat. I think I would like to start with Sir George Chuku. Please, could you throw some light on this? What do you think? What is really going on?
Well, I think what is going on is because, post-pandemic, there are so many things. Some countries were able to, you know, uh, drag themselves out of the problem that the pandemic caused for 2 solid years. So some other countries are having difficulty to try to put themselves economically and diplomatically and otherwise. So what we're seeing here is a whole nation that is completely and absolutely dissatisfied with what was going on in their country. And I believe that the military came in because if you listen to the voice and the tone of voice that they're using, it is not something that stemmed out of, out of we want to kill everybody, like what happened in Ghana. This one, they wanted to have a peaceful coup. They want to preserve the president's life. They want to preserve his family. They don't want the chaos in the country. But I believe that it stemmed from, a complete and absolute dissatisfaction of the president or the ruling class, unable, unable to sustain the economy of the country at the same time. So that's what I'm seeing here. Although the international world is coming in and saying, like France, the former colonial master, is saying that this coup is not final. And the reason why they're saying so is simply because of the tone of voice of these young people doing this. That's what I'm putting it to you. Is the military leader in France actually was almost approving of the coup. I'm not quite sure whether this is true or not, but I was reading it this morning.
Who was approving of the coup?
Yeah, the military leader of France, and I was reading it this morning. I'm like, how could they be saying that they approve of the coup and yet saying that it is not final? So maybe somebody misprinted something when it was being written, but in actuality, the man is still healthy, and I believe that nothing is going to happen to him. Maybe they are planning, trying to find a way. Maybe there will be
Didn't we see this? Didn't we see this in Ukraine in 2014? Didn't we? So is it a case some coups are allowed, some coups are fine, are fantastic, while some are bad?
But I want to really quickly talk about, so I can give others an opportunity to talk. When you were saying that democracy is not designed for every community, every society,
It hasn't worked. I said it hasn't worked. It hasn't been a one shoe that fits all.
You know what? I honestly believe so. Because there are some countries, some places you go to, the way they think, the way they act does not fit in. So, for such countries that have refused to come out of the past of the way of thinking, I believe that some of these countries, and even as a matter of fact, some of these European countries and even US agreed. If you look back, way back, who was, when you go to Iraq, the man that was killed in Iraq was their boy. Was he not? The former leader of Iraq, the military leader of Iraq. They supported him for many years.
Saddam Hussein.
Yes, until things went, south.
Same with Gaddafi.
Same with Gaddafi, same with Egypt, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
So some of these things, when we look at it, we can take it with a grain of salt.
Same with sorry to interrupt you. Same with this Osama bin Laden.
Osama bin Laden. So, do you see that? So what happens with that is when the public, starts saying, no, they turn against their own person. So sometimes you look at it with a grain of salt and see whether the society at that moment, can accept that kind of democratic rule, which I believe is the best way, but it doesn't fit all. And like you said, I agree with you there.
Okay, very good, very solid points. I would like to first of all welcome BD all the way from the heart of Nigeria, Lagos. Welcome, BD.
Our princess.
Thank you, Dr. Ide.
Okay, I also like to welcome. Thank you. I also like to send a message to Massive Mark backstage. Your microphone. Yes, please. Okay. Now I would like to ask Ambassador Nat. To please comment. What do you think about the coup? And is it now something to celebrate? Is it good in one case and maybe in other cases bad? Were they saving the country from trouble? And is it supported by? Is it the right thing to be supported by even Western leaders at the moment?
Well, the what is happening in Niger Republic, our northern neighbor, is a very funny thing. It's because from what we are hearing, initially it was the presidential guards who locked out the president from maybe his his palace, and they now said they were taking over. Meanwhile, I thought Niger had a military, a standing army that is serving the whole nation. It is now secondary that the military in Niger we are supporting the boys in the presidential palace. It is very funny. So whom are they going to produce at the head of state? Is
They
it
were
the boys? Is it the boys in the presidential palace or the military in Niger? It's very
they
funny.
took orders. They took orders, obviously.
Yes, it must have been others because they couldn't have done it by themselves.
Obviously, they'll be hanged if it wasn't unsuccessful.
Yes.
Obviously, isn't
Well,
it true?
so
They would have
if
been
I
hanged.
take it from there, is it the former colonial masters, especially France, actually what they wouldn't have been that coup taking place if France was not aware and approved of it. But
Mhm.
the problem in Niger is that we have heard of this Wagner. Troops who wanted to attempted to stage a coup in Russia. They are heavily present in Niger as we speak, and the problem with Niger too also they really don't want the French people again, and they have said it in many ways, but it looks like the
Only the French
president.
didn't get the memo.
They didn't get the memo.
Only
They
the
didn't get
French
the memo.
didn't
Or
get the memo.
they got the memo but didn't understand the language or the communication. So
The dialect of French.
yeah, the what is happening in 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 Niger is also a challenge to the president of Nigeria, Ahmed Tinubu, who recently took over the headship of the authority of ECOWAS and said he almost made a personalized statement saying that he will not allow any military coup in any West African country, forgetting that even I mean, the street is occupying now, as far as I'm concerned, was a civilian coup. We are not even yet sure. We are not sure how INEC and himself managed to declare him as the president with the election result and so many other things happening. And the Nigerian, I think it was Anyanwu for the former Secretary General of the Commonwealth, saying that Nigeria should watch his back, should watch her borders, because definitely these people will infiltrate. So many of them, even some of the coup plotters or the unsuccessful coup plotters, will simply walk into Nigeria. They don't even need any vehicle to use to walk into Nigeria,
Because
and we know.
Buhari had given them free visas and free entrance into Nigeria.
Yes,
Remember that?
and we know that the immediate past government of the APC under Buhari, they were so scared. They were afraid that there could be a coup in Nigeria. You couldn't rule that out. There were rumors here and there. And so we need to be very, very watchful. And lastly, I want to say that we have coups now coming up, especially that Sahel belt, Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso. Because democracy has failed, and because the military boys also want to live the flamboyant life they have seen the politicians live. When they stage a coup, they go into the presidential palace and drink the wine. They can sit there, sit on the cushion chairs, and enjoy the food. And
Mhm.
so they have seen the life the politicians are enjoying, and they are there, the one
Mhm.
fighting.
Mhm. Okay, thank you so much. So yeah, there's some logical reasons to the coup. From if I'm to summarize all you've said, some logical reasons for the coup. But it doesn't still negate the fact that the way it's supported seems to point to some double standards, where in some cases where coup is okay and coup is not okay in other cases. And also talks about, I think it talks about the instability we expect from that belt in West Africa.
Can I read
Okay,
something? Can I read something quickly? From
please go ahead
Academy.
before we move to the next.
It
Yes.
says France's government has said it does not consider the coup in Niger to be final, despite the fact or the former French colony's military leadership throwing its weight behind the removal of the democratically elected president. So
It-
the
It's
leadership in the military, France's military leadership supported the removal of this president. So that's what I don't understand. Is it
uh,
that you understand what I'm saying? This is
I get
understanding.
what you're saying. It's the tone. From the tone, you can read between the lines. So, any president, as we all the countries in the world, is there any president right now who is there finally? Who is that? Is the final president? Is there any president or any leader in the world? That president now you're seeing there is the final. After him, that country will cease to exist. So why the highlighting of the word final if it's not only to taper down the or try to increase the acceptability of the same system of government which is frowned out only when it's used in Niger or Ukraine, then it becomes perfectly okay. So this is of course, if it continues like this, then there will be no, like our partners would like to say, rule-based order. We will not have any particular predictability in terms of what is good and what is bad. Okay, I would like to move on to the next. I would have loved BD to talk if
Please,
internet is allowed. BD, massive mark.
Massive
Is
mark.
your internet also okay? Okay. Okay, BD, please go ahead.
What do you want me to speak on?
About the coup in occurred in Niger
Queen.
Republic.
In Niger Republic, yeah. I honestly, what actually got me was when they were, after the taking over, they said that the main reason for that coup was because of insecurity, the historical state of insecurity in the country. That was why they actually did what they did. Well, and another thing, you remember that the president ran to Nigeria. Are you aware? And our president made some statements that was somehow indicting to his person and to his seat. So Okama was saying, why is it that Africans don't like good things? Why must they go on queue? Now the thing is this: Africans, they like good thing, they like nice thing, they want their country to work. If all these state presidency are doing what they're supposed to do, if they're performing very well, if they're doing things according to the life of their citizens, having the masses in mind, I don't think anybody will want to go and be part of coup. And the funny part about this coup is that they started from the presidency guide. I don't know. I'm still trying to put my hands across that. How did he manage to initiate this? Is it because of the closeness or what? How did he manage? Because it started from him. He actually started this process, and it's worked. Now the thing is this. Pardon me for what I was about to say. It has happened in Nigeria Republic. Nigeria is just a stone. They are our next door neighbor. They are close to us. Can Nigeria learn from this? Yes, I think this is the kind of things we need in Nigeria now. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure I would support that line of
Mm,
thought. I'm not.
mm.
I wouldn't support that line of thought. We
I
think
mean,
that we should have. We should support the right standard every time. In the right way. The right way. Respect the will of the majority.
And
Massive
whereby the
Mark.
people,
You
Yes,
whereby the
sorry.
people
Sorry.
refuse to
Let's
do
go
the
to.
right thing.
I will support what it is saying. No, I'm not scared of putting it out. I mean, let's be honest, gentlemen. Can you hear me? Let's be honest with
Yeah, we can hear
ourselves.
you very well.
Democracy worked in Africa? No. I mean, let's leave trying to be. There's something called being politically correct. That's what we do every time. Like BD will say, we want to be correct. Everybody wants to be political. Want to say things the way it is. Let's leave it like that. But it has not worked for us. Democracy has rather inflicted more pain to Africa than any other thing. Some people are the ones that have really enjoyed this democracy. Very handful of politicians in Africa, in all of Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, Senegal, all of Africa, just some minor, small group of people. So if it's not working for the masses, if we have in Nigeria, we're about 200 and something million people, and in fact, 1/3 of that population is below, extremely below the poverty line. Half of that population is just managing to stay alive. So we're deceiving ourselves. Let's be honest. It's pure deceit. I mean, what about thinking of doing what we were doing before that helped us? Maybe we could go back to our traditional way of doing things, or maybe we could choose another pattern. But so far, this whole thing is not working,
Right.
and that's why we're seeing this in Niger. Do you know?
Right, Massive Mark. Massive Mark,
morning,
sorry to cut you short.
okay.
Massive
But
Mark,
I
sorry to
want to
cut you
say
short.
this morning, the
Okay.
Niger army is backing up and saying they support the coup. That's the army. The Niger Republic coup leader says the army is backing him up and they support it. You know, and the
Okay.
president is in his house and he's yelling and shouting. And
Okay, we have to
taking
move on, Massive Mark. We have to move on from this. Thank you so much. I would like us to move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the Russia-Africa Summit. It's since it's been held, it's been an opportunity for Russia to engage more directly with African leaders. It's usually not so easy to organize a. First of all, I would say there were some successes. I would like to say some of them. It wasn't up to how would I say, from a subjective point of view. I personally would say it was great, but it left a little more to be desired. At this particular today's event, rather this year's event. But I understand how very difficult it is to organize such event of that magnitude. Although many reading according to Russia Today, which is an official publication of in Russia, it says 17 African leaders attended. We also have Le Monde France, who says about 20 or less than 20 would attend. And this is not the 54 African countries which we have in Africa. I think last year was about 40 something leaders, if I'm not wrong, who attended last year.
43 leaders last time.
Yeah, 43 leaders last time, and now it's less. And also some organizations weren't really carried along or invited at this year's event.
Let me come in.
So,
Godwin, can I say something? Putin is trying to strengthen ties with Africa, and he's doing a great job. Let's be honest. I mean, this time I'm on your side on this one. Putin is doing a great job. Do you know that Putin wants to bring a system of farming that will make Africa grow its own grain? And
yes,
you see that thing, as little as it sounds, that's a big project there. You know why? Because the grain has so many things, so many processes that will be derived from it. So
that's not all. That's not all. I will come to you. I just want to quickly go through the things that were said this year, or the things that were achieved in this particular summit. So President Putin claimed that 70% of grain from Ukraine ended up in EU countries. So the grain deal was a bad deal because most of African countries didn't receive it. And in fact, African countries received less than 3%. And then also, Russia agreed to supply free of charge grain to some African countries. Russia says it is ready to supply African countries with 25 to 50,000 tons of grain for free and to provide free delivery to Africa. Free delivery. It also says that it is ready to replace Ukraine grain in Africa against the backdrop of record harvest. So apart from we also had some other deals that were made, like fertilizers that were supplied, which is very, very important for the growth of crops or agriculture. So we can see that the grain deal, even if playing the devil's advocate, somebody says maybe Putin isn't completely right, but the figure that Africa received, let's say 5%, let's say 6%, but that's still very, very vastly unfair. So was it fair to Africa? And do you think that this Russia-Africa summit really is a win-win for Africa in all regards? So let me go to Sir George, and then I'll come back to Massive Mark. Sir George, what do you think?
Well, I mean, I can see the advantages of the move that Putin is making, and I believe that it might be what I call a two-sided type of benefit. But the point is, maybe he's facilitating this right now simply because of what has been happening, the Black Sea, about the shipment of grain outside of Ukraine. So maybe he's backtracking a little bit, just to save face. Maybe, I say maybe, or maybe he is the human compassion in him is actually working out, seeing the starvation in many countries. But either way it goes, Russia is a country that needs that type of collaboration with other African nations, because you can't just say that America or Europe or France, should be the only ones that are controlling. They used to be afraid of China. Right now, Russia is rising up. Now, you remember the last time that some leaders African leaders went to Russia to talk about the Ukraine war, Ukraine and Russian war. And they were demanding that they stop the war because it is affecting the world economy. So maybe this is some of the things that are, inspiring our Russia or Putin to come forth with something that is good like this that will benefit other countries. So as far as I am concerned, not one colonial master is supposed to hijack the whole entire continent. If it fits good with you, and if the marriage is good between Russia and some countries and they're benefiting from it, I mean, they should look into that very seriously. So I'm in support of what is really going on right now. And I'm happy because, to be very frank with you, a lot of countries are starving. They are going through literal hell simply because of this war that is happening. And other things that are happening also, not only the Russian-Ukrainian war that is happening around the world that is causing what you call
Syria. We have forgotten Syria so soon. People are still dying in thousands, tens of thousands, every single month.
Exactly.
But it's just not the front burner of mainstream media because it's not.
Palestinians and Israelis are killing themselves every day too.
Yes. So we focus on what the media wants us to focus on, and a human life is as important as how the media decides to cover it.
Well,
so it seems.
Exactly.
So it
seems.
We've seen a human who just disappears from the globe in a little village in Syria will not get much coverage if that citizen's life doesn't have enough geopolitical significance. And that is a very sad truth.
Before we go off, Dr. Ibe, like I said, I closely studied this whole Russia-EU summit. And
Russia-Africa.
Russia-Africa Summit, I had a change of view, mindset, towards what I used to think before, because one major thing Russia said on that meeting is the grain, like we said, the production, coming to help Africa grow its own grain. You see, that statement alone shows how Russia is thinking, because the colonial masters, like George said, never did this. The colonial masters didn't teach most of these wealth production machineries. They just carry you along in their own wealth production, and you even pay to get from their
Massive
production.
massive mark. Massive mark. I think we should not celebrate yet. This is what they are offering. This is just an offering. We shouldn't celebrate yet until we start seeing the results of what they've said. Now, what you people should be asking, Russia has listed what Africans should benefit if this collaboration happens. Now, it would call it collaboration. It's a partnership. And you know what happens in partnership? You gain idea. Now, they've listed what Africans should gain if this collaboration is strengthened. Now, have you people thought about what Russia will be gaining from Africa? Because they're not just coming on the table for nothing. They have a target somewhere. Their eyes is on something. And another question I want to ask. Now, why is this coming up at this point in time? Why have they been sleeping all this while? I know Russia has been helpful.
No, it's the second one. No, it's the second one. The first one was in 2019.
2019, I know.
No, they haven't.
Yeah, I know. So why now? Now, another thing is this. Russia is bombarding Ukraine. I wouldn't want to say that because I know Dr. Ibe will come again after me.
No, it's they are bombarding themselves.
Yeah, I know that's the one you would like to hear. Russia is bombarding Ukraine, and on the other hand, is you're offering a survivor to other continents. I think what we're talking about is human. You're killing human, and you're offering a survivor routine to another human. Why didn't he focus on settling his dispute with Ukraine before he can now make another offer to how other continents can survive?
Well, because if whether Africa receives grain or Africa doesn't receive grain, it's not going to change the trajectory of Russia defending its national security interest. So Africa should take what it gets and understand that whether Africa get that grain or not get that grain, Russia is not going to stop fighting for its interest. So what is better for Africa is to take the offer in its national security interest.
Africans should not just be selfish. Yes, in as much as they want to survive. They shouldn't be selfish. Now, it could go this way.
We have to go on a commercial break. We'll, of course, we'll be back very soon, continuing with all the news that matters to on the global stage to Nigeria. So sit back and we'll be back.
A year ago, I wrote a book titled The Final Solution, and I was trying to say to the rest of the world that there are challenges ahead. Now, a prophecy
Hi there, I'm Mary Keurig, and I am a businesswoman in the United States, but I'm also the Global Content Vice President for the Sub-Saharan Open University in Nigeria. I could not be prouder to work with Dr. Osita Anamika and his team on helping to create not just entrepreneurs and skill-based talent that will get out into the workforce and make a living for themselves, but also young leaders. And to that end, with this integrity-rich university environment that's accredited now, and it's just an amazing opportunity for anyone there of any age to jump on board and learn, we want to let you know about a new offering that we have. We have a governance, Global Governance and Diplomacy course, now provided by a whole team of people that crosses several countries to put together these resources and lots of great information for those of you who might be on the path toward public service and diplomatic service, NGO leadership, that sort of thing. We hope that you will walk through this open door and enjoy.
A year ago, I wrote a book titled The Final Solution, and I was trying to say to the rest of the world that there are challenges ahead. Now, a prophecy did come, and that prophecy is coming to pass. But I'm telling you, the final solution has been found many years ago in the Bible, because the Bible simply says righteousness exalts a nation and sin is a reproach to the people. So I want you to know that we can get solutions to problems in Ukraine, in Russia, in Nigeria, indeed all parts of the world. We need that solution, and the solution is straightforward. Please get a copy of my book. It's the Final Solution by Bishop Shegun Johnson, and you can find it in Kindle, in Amazon. Just type Bishop Shegun Johnson, The Final Solution. It's very, very small book you can read within 2 hours, but it contains the final solution. Do get a copy. Not getting it is doing disservice to humanity. Don't forget The Final Solution.
Hello, welcome back. So we continue from where we left off. We're talking about things that matter to Nigerians that are happening around the globe. So joining me once again is Ambassador Nati Yakwo and BD from Lagos, Nigeria, and Sir George Chukwu from Toronto, Canada, and of course, Massive Mark from Milan. Now, I would like us to go straight to something that I think that will excite lots of Nigerians around the globe, and that's the performance of the women's team, stunning Australia, and eventually winning, I think 3-2, to inch closer towards qualification. Now, I would like to start with BD, considering the fact that it's a female sports team. There's a lot to celebrate, but should we temper our excitement? Do we deserve this victory? And did our Ministry of Sports contribute enough to this victory? Can we expect more?
My dear, they did not contribute enough to this victory. I must tell you, this victory you saw at Australia, I could ascribe it to an individual victory. Those ladies, they did us proud. Most of them, for people who spoke with them personally, they had their personal training. The Nigerian Minister of Sport did not input a lot or enough towards this achievement we had yesterday. Those ladies, Uche, Chiamaka, Ngozi, Rashidat, all those, the major key players, those ladies, they made us proud. Now you're talking about the Minister of Sports. I'm telling you, Nigerians are happy, but I'm not trying to be biased here, but if this was Super Falcon, you know what would have been happening. And each time what these ladies get, they don't get well appreciated to the level of what they are putting in. You remember when there was a time they were abandoned in the airport, so many times, like 2 different times. The Minister for Nigeria, they are not actually doing well, but I'm so proud of these girls. And I pray, like you said, we should take it slow in our celebration so that they can get to the final. And I know they will get to the final. You know, as a Nigerian, I will always be as let's keep praying for them. Because the time for practice has passed. So that they will
Thank you
get
so
to the
much.
final.
Thank you so much. Our Ambassador Nat, all the way from London. Please, what do you think? You've been in the diplomacy front and closer to the inner workings of the government. Do you think that there's a system in place to correct these lapses, or do you think that these accusations by BD are false, patently false, and there are already systems in place that are dealing with it, or rather, in other words, this victory was a well-deserved victory by our dear Ministry of Sports?
Thank you very much. I want to absolutely agree with BD. The situation in Nigeria is individuals put in their best and government come to support instead of the other way around. And with football, we know football is a unifying factor in Nigeria. And so at the international level, it's lifted not only the Super Falcons, but even the present government. It looks like in the past, if Buhari speaks to you, then you are out of the game. But but we find
Some kind of
Tinubu speaking with the Super Falcons, and they went and defeated Australia. And we see the first lady too very enthusiastic about her babies, and she will go all the way to continue to support them. And so we for the team, the Super Falcons should not rest on their oars. They have a long way to go. They have a lot of work to do, and we want to wish them all the best.
Thank you so much. So I think one is it safe to say that one advice coming from you is, if you intend to win or to go further in your sports career, exit any government group. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So I think now in the chat, the ladies are probably leaving the chat. Okay, let's go to Sir George Chukwu from Toronto. So we've had two people say, quite in clear terms, that our Ministry of Sports don't deserve this victory, and we need to do more to not only get this type of victory, but to get more of it and to build up the talent, I assume. What do you have to say concerning this?
Well, a balanced, great government will see every aspect of participation from their country to be a whole, some type of thing that will help the nation. In the past, you used to see it a little on TV, but now it's all over. So what you are seeing, Nigeria has been a country, the government of Nigeria concentrating basically on a smaller part of things and how they're going to be able to, hijack the money. What can we do to send it out outside of the what country would I take the money to? It started with Nollywood. Nollywood came out, the government will not do anything with them. A certain part of the country doesn't even think that they should be. But on their own, they went all the way and became a voice and a force to be reckoned with internationally. When you talk about Hollywood, you talk about Bollywood, Nollywood is there to compete with the three of them. And this is exactly what happened. Out of self-effort, they put it out there and they have been winning. Look at music. In the music industry, the same thing. You don't see any help from the government, but now they are making our country shine. These are the glimmer lights that is even making Nigeria to have something positive outside of our country beside the government. So sports is coming in right now. The young ladies are out there doing great things, and congratulations. You ladies will go all the way. Like BD said, I'm supporting you all the way. And congratulations, ladies. We're supporting you. We're behind you. But the government need to at least put in support in different areas, because it helps the economy of the nation. It helps the nation to the world to know, okay, Nigerians are doing something great in music, in movies, in sports. The government need to pay attention and follow them to do good also. That's all I can say.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Massive Mark, I'd like you to touch briefly on it before we move on to the next topic on the agenda.
Yeah, touching briefly is to just say I congratulate the ladies for a job well done. Beat Australia 3-2, and now going on to the quarterfinals. Now, let me also say that, like George is saying, a lot of Nigerians are doing great things, but nobody recognizes. The government doesn't even support at all, George. They don't even support. They don't even come to the aid of anything. Yesterday, here in Milan, Italy, we had a Nigerian player from Villarreal. He's coming from Villarreal. Samuel Chukwueze. Samuel Chukwueze was signed to AC Milan yesterday, and it's a big one for us. I got the call. They called me and said if I want to pick a story on that, and I did. I also got a photo of him. So Nigerians are doing things, and a lot of people don't recognize. Government doesn't support. Government doesn't come to anything that Nigerians are doing all over the world. So that is Samuel Chukwueze, and he's going to be in AC Milan. The contract is signed till June 2028, and he's going to be playing forward for the team. We call that AC Milan here. We call them Rossoneri. Rossoneri is what we call them. So this is Nigerians for you, and they are different. They are in different parts of the world like this. Different parts of the world doing awesome things. So it's a good thing. The Ministry of Sport understands how to engage with these great Nigerians doing things all over the world and use it to the benefit of our country. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Obviously, it's a great achievement for our compatriot. I love Milan. I always say that when I meet you. Such a great
how
city.
much money are we getting? How much money? They sign in.
That's what I'm saying. You see, if it's planned well, this young man putting something to the coffers of NFP, Nigerian Sports Authority.
Yes, of course.
But because
of course, we have to move on. We have to move on. Sorry, unfortunately, we have to move on to next because we are choked with time. And the next agenda is more charges for Trump. And when I talk about this case, I always look at our fellow panelist, Judge Chuko. The Trump is not he's not my man. But okay, but it doesn't stop me from thinking aloud. And if you may permit me to say this, more charges brought against Trump. And I was trying to just, do a little investigation, find out what is this charge. The charge was that he asked his staff to delete a video from Florida Lamargo Estate. And then I was like, deleting, what does it remind me of? Hillary Clinton. She deleted a whole thousands of mail from an email server. And she's free. But one video, Trump asked to delete. Asked. Not deleted, but asked to delete. He's charged. And I begin to wonder, what is going on? What is the rule of law? And we also say, if we say, okay, this is not only a Republican problem, we also have simultaneously Hunter Biden being arrested and also deletion. His laptop was wiped. So this deletion is some kind of, it's a recurrent process by the arms of anything connected with the government. But when it comes to Trump, it seems to be disowned and leads to a charge. Please, Sir George, help us out. Solve this puzzle.
What you have to understand is this. Number one, Trump does not believe in the rule of law. He believes that he's above the law. He believes that he can do whatever he wants, whenever he wants it, however he wants it, and get away with it. So the point about it is this. When you come to a country like America, Hillary Clinton was saying that she deleted some mails, okay, and they looked into it, but they did not find any charges against him. Even under Trump's administration, he pushed it. Hundreds of.
But it was true. It's not about the charge. It was true, right?
Hold on a second. What you gotta understand is, for somebody in that position of authority, with the top topmost secrets, and the way America talks about secrets, to be flaunting it and just using it as, you know, something you put it in the toilet, you put it in, you know, in your dining room and you play around with it. America does not play with it. The bottom line to it is that this man that is actually coming after Trump and charging Trump, he is one individual that is, you know, he's non-partisan. He is going after some of the things, because if they allow this to happen, if they allow it to happen, that means that any other government or any other former president can just go out there and do whatever they want, whenever they want it. So it's not that they are coming after the man. Number one, let me tell you something. Unfortunately, Trump wants to be like Putin because that's his idol. He wants to be a lifetime president of America.
But I understand this. So sorry to interject you, but I want you to just be on the path of what I'm asking. I understand what you're saying, but listen, just I want to put you on the part of the question. The question is simple. Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State.
That's right.
She sent email private that could put people's internal classified information in the public domain. She sent from private servers. In fact, she took responsibility for the death of US citizens in Libya. In fact, the ambassador died. So this is not a potential harm. Just let me finish. It's not a potential harm, but this is an actual harm that led to the death of US citizens, and she took responsibility for it. So she admitted, but no charges.
No. They looked into it. The DOJ
look and charge are not the same thing.
No, they did not charge her because they could not find anything substantial to charge her.
So Ambassador Nat to also say something from the diplomatic angle of it, because
you see, it would look as if Massive Mark. Wait a minute. It will look as
if. Let just finish. I'm trying to understand.
Okay. It will look as if, you know, they are targeting Trump unnecessarily, but they are not. If you really go deep into this whole entire thing and understand the significance of, you know, the negligent attitude towards, you know, security of the United States of America and everything else that he wanted to do a coup to take over the government. That's exactly what he did. So all these things Trump was not a
Sir George, all I'm hearing is it looks like black, it feels like black, we see black, but it's not black. That's all I hear. Let Ambassador Nat, please throw some more light, because all I am saying is it feels like black, it looks like black, it exactly feels and touch. You can touch, you can see, you can hear it like black, but it's not black.
It's an independent part of the government. They know what they are doing. They are bipartisan. They support. They know exactly what they're doing.
I am not passing judgment. I'm only highlighting fact. Two different standards being applied, whether for whatever reason you said, but two different end results. Look and charge are not the same thing.
You have to.
Ambassador Nat, please go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Sir George. Well done.
Well done.
In politics, especially in the 21st century, you have to play smart. This is what we call smart politics. And for Trump doesn't really believe in the rules of the game. He thinks he's above the rules of the game. And Trump has come down in history as one president of the United States who has no comparison. Nobody's coming near him. Because he came from the business world. He came from nowhere and became the president of the United States of America. And what is really happening in America now is the politics of the political parties, the Democrats and the Republicans. The Trump created ground for what is happening as we speak. Because the Republicans, the Democrats really didn't campaign. Trump's tenure campaigned for the Democrats to win the elections. If not, somebody like Biden could not have come into the American politics, even though we know he had been vice president for many years. But at his age and some of his antecedents and what is going on, he wouldn't have been able to defeat Trump, and especially the Republican Party. We see what has happened at the midterm elections. The Republicans have taken over the House of Reps, and if care not taken, maybe any other person they present, especially the Republican, they have to watch it. And so, what the Democrats are taking advantage position. They are in government, even though they are saying they don't have anything to do with what's going on in the judiciary or the justice ministry. But I mean, that's bullshit. They can't tell anybody that.
It
Nobody.
feels that way, it looks that way. You know, you can basically sense it. All six sense says that
Yeah,
this is politics. But then,
yeah.
yeah. Anyway, thank you so much. Who's going to throw some more light on it? I just feel like, you know, I just feel like when I see double standard, I just say this is it. Yeah, it's not about good or bad. It's about how you apply those rules.
It looks like
You know,
double standard, but no charges
it
against
is.
Trump is false. It's all his own doing. He said
But
himself.
they could also have been charges against others instead of looking into it.
Well,
We don't need looks. We need justice. Charge.
For
Equal
DOJ
charge.
to go after you, you must have placed yourself in such a vulnerable position. Yeah, there are others.
Sir George, you win. He's not my man. Oh, please, you win. Let's hear.
It's your dad.
Please.
I think Republicans I think they are trying everything to. They see Trump as a threat. With the force is coming. Trump, from what I'm seeing, Trump might win this last election. So everything they are doing is just to put him down. That's what I think. I'm telling you.
Exactly. It looks that way. I've just clearly said it's not my man, it's your man, because we in Russia, for example, cannot interfere. We don't interfere other people's politics. I personally don't want to interfere. But at the same time, it looks that way. And when I read from Democrats and Republicans, and then I see, like, okay, there's some element of sense, like logic, you know, and then you begin to say, well, if they believe that that's best for them, please go ahead. What can we do?
Can I summarize this whole entire thing? Trump represents the white supremacist that wants to maintain the old things of the white men ruling against every other. And that's what you're seeing. And the rise of, look at the Republicans, the way they are. I mean, they don't obey nothing. Most of them will go against the status quo today because what they want is the old thing, when they used to enslave black people. That's what they want to bring, whether we like it or not. That's what he represents. That's those that are supporting him. We like
as a fellow black man, sir, I would like to go along your line, but I just don't see the evidence for it. Of course, I would like to support that, but I just don't see evidence for this. But anyway, we have to go now. We unfortunately were able to talk about Sinéad O'Connor's sudden death at 56 in his London home. But hopefully maybe next time we'll touch on it. I want to say once again, thank you all for being on the live stream today. Sir George, BD, Ambassador Nati, Yakwo, and Massive Mark. Tune in next time. We'll be here again on Wednesday to talk about the news that matter to Nigerians, and again on Friday to talk about global news. So thank you viewers for tuning in today. Please like, share the video to other people who might find all we've discussed here very useful, and I believe that it also helps to tell the algorithm that we're doing a good job, so that we can always be here as usual, giving you and commenting on the things that matter to you. So thank you so much.